morning. Welcome back to our next episode of 25 Live at Home. We are so excited that you are here to join us on this awesome Palm Sunday. I think what I love the most about this Sunday is just the recognition and the joy and the excitement around Christ coming into Holy Week. This is going to be a super awesome week where we hope that you all can join us. We have lots of opportunities here at church for you to join us. Not only do we have our regular Easter worship services this coming Sunday, but we also have a Lenten potluck and a service on Maundy Thursday that starts at 6 p.m. and then worship service to follow at 7. Then on Good Friday, we have worship at 7 p.m. as well. So both of those will be great opportunities to come and experience Holy Week in its fullness and this whole journey that Jesus goes on through this amazing week. We're super excited that you're here to join us now for Palm Sunday. We're going to be using our Sanctified Art curriculum again. This is that Lenten devotional that hopefully you and your family have picked up a copy for, because we are so nearing this end of Lent. So our story today talks about the triumphant entry into Jerusalem. So I have a question. Have you ever been told to be quiet? It's probably something that a lot of you have experienced. It's probably something that oftentimes as a kid you hear a lot. What are some times when you've been asked to be quiet? Why do you think that you're supposed to be quiet at those times? Sometimes we need to be quiet so we can pay attention to what someone else is saying, or what they have to say might be very important. But it's equally important and it's equally powerful when you're told to speak up. Did you know that what you might have to say is really important too? That's why we take turns speaking. That's why it's so important that there are times to listen and times to speak, because we want to hear what everyone has to say. And today we're going to hear a story about Jesus in a noisy parade. And let's listen to this story and pay attention to who's quiet and who's speaking. So our story today comes from Luke chapter 19, verses 29 to 40. Let's hear God's word. When he had come near Bethpage and Bethany, at the place called the Mount of Olives, he sent 2 disciples, saying, "Go into the village ahead of you, and as you enter it, you will find tied there a colt that has never been ridden. Untie it and bring it here. If anyone asks you, 'Why are you untying it?' just say this, 'The Lord needs it.'" So those who were sent departed and found it as he had told them. As they were untying the colt, its owners asked them, "Why are you untying the colt?" They said, "The Lord needs it." Then they brought it to Jesus, and after throwing their cloaks on the colt, they set Jesus on it. As he rode along, people kept spreading their cloaks on the road. Now as he was approaching the path down from the Mount of Olives, the whole multitude of disciples began to praise God joyfully with a loud voice for all the deeds of power that they had seen, saying, "Blessed is the King who comes in the name of the Lord, peace in heaven, and glory in the highest heaven." Some of the Pharisees in the crowd said to him, "Teacher, order your disciples to stop." He answered, "I tell you, if these were silent, the stones would shout out." The word of God for the people of God. Thanks be to God. So as we've listened to this story this week, and we think about the folks that are speaking and the folks that are silent and just how powerful that is, Palm Sunday is a really, really incredible time in the Christian year. Jesus and the disciples are traveling. This is the entrance into Holy Week. And so one of the activities that I really have appreciated and really like from our Lenten art curriculum today is thinking about speaking up without sound. Not everybody can speak with their voice. People who are deaf or nonverbal might use sign language or writing or images to communicate. If you have someone in your community who communicates in one of these ways, invite them to come and share about what quiet and loud might look like to them, or how to respectfully communicate with them, or how kids can help speak up for the community. If you don't know someone that you can communicate with or that you can reach out and ask questions about, I encourage you to watch the video that I will link in at the end of this video. And it's called A Day Without Words. It's a children's book, and it's a really incredible and really cool look into an opportunity to understand where people are coming from who might communicate in a different way. For myself personally, I've had the incredible opportunity to work with a multitude of kids who they don't communicate in the same way that other kids do. One of the coolest ways that I've seen those kids communicate is I've seen kids communicate now via assistive communication technology, where kids actually get an iPad and there's a program on there with speech buttons. And the kids learn how to navigate through that and how to communicate with what they want, how to communicate with what they need. But again, I think it kind of goes back to this theme that we keep coming back to with Lent, that everything happens in its own time. Those kids might need a little extra time to communicate or might need a little extra time to be understood. And it can be frustrating, right? When you can't just speak and get what you want, like so many of us do. So I think as we go through this week, I would ask that you be very intentional and think about, how do you communicate with the world? Are you someone who is very abrupt, who speaks quickly, who goes first, who is always trying to be the one in charge or to be the loudest, right? Or am I someone who can take this message and be humble and can experience things and can kind of be patient with my time? I think that's something that, as you think about the story of Palm Sunday and you think about the ways that people were crying out, the ways that people were excited to see Jesus, these people were excited and they were very quick to participate and very loving. But it makes me wonder that at the end of the week, when we come towards Good Friday, are those same people eager and excited, right? We hear the story of Peter and the denial 3 times. So when you think about the way that you communicate with the world, and especially about our Christian faith, I hope this week that we're really intentional about the ways that we communicate, that we are sharing God's love, God's kindness, God's grace through our actions, through our words, through our deeds at all times, right? We're not just being in someone's face with, oh yeah, Jesus is great, and then not intentionally backing up that language, right? So thanks for listening. We'll go ahead and join our guest speaker here in just a moment, and then we'll come back and we'll go over our discussion questions for the evening.
Well, good morning. I'm Judy Swafford. I have been at St. Andrew's Church since about 2000, and I became an active member in 2010. And I've lived in Iowa City since 1978.
I'm Kathy Dice, and I'm also involved in the LFO Garden with Judy and many others. We've been in the Iowa City area since 2005 and been part of St. Andrew membership since 2009-ish.
Let Us Feed Others is a garden, a community garden that St. Andrew's Presbyterian Church started in about 2013. And so we've been an active garden since 2013, so over 12 years. And we help the community folks who do not have access to fresh vegetables. So that's such things as tomatoes or zucchini or cucumbers. And our food is growing right here in our garden. And we then take it to the local pantries, who then distribute it to, again, people who don't have access to the fresh vegetables because they can't afford it, or just don't have the knowledge on what they should buy.
We enjoy anyone that will come down and help us in the garden. We have some folks that can only come 1 day a week. We have some folks that come 2-3 days a week. We have young people that come with their parents. We have lots of high schoolers that come and do silver cord hours, and that's always real beneficial. But we enjoy all ages. If you say, my 5-year-old will probably make a mess, they say, yeah, we give them a garden hose and let them water, and they have a great time with that. We have other individuals that come and say, oh, I can't stand that long. I said, well, we've got benches. And if you can sit at a bench and sort vegetables, we've got that for you too. We've got high beds for people with poor backs. We have stuff that we grow in the ground. So, if you just need to play in the dirt for a day, once a week, or maybe once a month, we'll take you down there and we'll have a good time.
Absolutely. There are days when we don't have enough help. So if you can come and just harvest, or can you come and water, certainly sometimes we have to have mowing done. But coming as a family, you can share in seeing the seed that's put in the ground as it comes out of the ground, and then as it produces, as it flowers and produces the vegetables. So helping is, as Kathy said, come once, come a couple times, come at the beginning when we're planting, and then come in the late, like August, when we really start harvesting a fair amount. That's really helpful. And the other thing is to tell your friends about the garden and how you saw things grow. To share the wonders of growing in the garden. We're always willing to help teach, so you can come and learn, as well as how the seed starts out and how it produces. And
we have our local food pantries, North Liberty, Coralville, and the Iowa City food pantries. And also the Wednesday that we have food market here at the church, we come in early morning, 6 o'clock sometimes, and start harvesting so that those vegetables are fresh, and we can get our tables, help get the tables set up, because we get it in from our big truck comes, but then we add to it. Sometimes we have to put up more tables, which is a wonderful problem to have. And so we really enjoy knowing that our produce is going directly from the ground over into our own food market once a month, and take a lot of pride in that.
Yes, and we grow things like okra, which is very popular among a lot of our immigrant families that are here. Cucumbers are always very popular. The kids with the lunch bunch like the little cucumbers. Small tomatoes, onions. We grow such a variety. And we also have a beautiful amount of flowers that we grow. And we grow those flowers because we know that the bees and the other insects come in to gather the fruits from the flowers, such as the nectar, and then they fly to one of our vegetables and they pollinate it. So among our vegetables, we've got flowers to feed the insects, which would then turn pollinate our garden produce. So pollinate, and also the flowers, various times during the season, we are able to cut some of those and take those. You might see them at the altar at church, or you might take it to someone who's sick and shut in, because flowers make us happy. So we do a lot of things besides grow just our vegetables. We have those flowers.
Judy, how many pounds did we produce last year? Do you remember?
Well, that's a good question. And last year it was about 4,500 pounds. So if you can imagine like the weight of an average car, then you think of that with all our vegetables just in one 4,500 pounds. So that's a lot of vegetables, and that was distributed. And usually we start getting produce that we can take to the pantries. Now there's Iowa City Pantry, Coralville, North Liberty, and we take them starting about mid-May, which will be kind of lettuce or spinach. And then in June, we might have some onions and a little bit more of the lettuces, spinaches, bok choy we grew last year. We get to July and August, then it's our okra, our zucchini, our cucumbers, our squashes, and tomatoes. And those are all very popular. When we have our food market, those tomatoes go pretty quick, as does the okra. Interesting, last year we learned that our pantries wanted something called collards. And collards are a green, so maybe think of like spinach, but they're a bit more of a bigger growing plant. And we grew collards and we harvested them from July till about October. And they were very well received. Our pantries give us information back and said, your collards are great, keep them coming. And so what a wonderful feeling that we all experienced when we were harvesting those collards and then getting them to the food banks. Sure, it's called Adopt a Tomato, which we kind of expanded to Adopt a Plant. And we will have them growing in a small little pot like this. And we will start the seeds like probably early April. And as we nurture it, we'll water it and make sure it gets enough sunlight. And when it gets probably about this high or so, we will bring it into the church area and call, okay, you can take this plant home, plant it in your garden, and we call that, you've adopted this plant, so you need to take care of it, water it, watch for any pest or little worms that want to eat on it. And then as the plant grows and it produces, you can bring that produce back to our church here, or you can take it directly to the food pantry. So, and this is really ideal for people who can't come to volunteer because they work. But if they've got that plant outside growing, they can do their part and then take that fruit to the food pantries at their convenience. And they've contributed to the garden. They've contributed to our mission, which is getting that fresh fruit, vegetables to people who don't have access or don't have the money. We sometimes don't understand people don't have the money to go buy that fresh tomato. And we all know fresh vegetables are healthy and delicious.
And delicious. We do have a lot of fun out there too. You'll see us out there laughing. A lot of it's the socialization for some of our folks that, just don't get out and want to be outside, but they just can't do the heavy duty yard work anymore. So they live in condos or townhouses or even over at Melrose Meadows. We have some of those folks that come over and they might only, stay for a half an hour, but it's just there's some socialization to it also. And we have a good group of folks that come. We'd love to expand that group, and we have a fun time.
Yes, and the thing that one of the things that helps communicate to people, should I come? What day do I need to come? Because sometimes people don't want to come on their own, and some people do, is we send out a newsletter every week. So it says, hey, this is what we're growing. This is what we need help with this week. These are the days that, 3 or 4 people will be there. These are the days that we're harvesting. So they can look at that week and say, okay, let's see if, mom could come and dad can come and we can come and do some harvesting together. Or, as Kathy mentioned, people that don't really have access, but they want to come. They know, well, I can call them on Friday. Somebody's going to be there, and I just show up. If you just show up, we'll give you the tools and the seeds and to do some planting. And I hope, did you see our sign here? Okay. Yeah. So we are part of, and this is across the country, across the United States, many gardens have become so ingrained in how do we help other people that they're now calling them people's gardens, because they grow produce and the produce is going to be going to their local pantries like we do. So we're just joined the group. So there's a map that you can actually pull up on the United States under this logo that'll show where the people's gardens are at. So it was very easy. We just submitted, this is what we do, this is where we're at, our mission statement of getting food to people who are food insecure, and that's how we got this recognition. So it pats us on the back a little bit, warms our heart, and we get to share it with people. So we will post this along with our other sign that you'll probably see on the fence. So, and I do welcome you just to walk by the garden, walk around it, do a tour around it. So we were going to we've got some pots here, and we're just going to pull out a seed or two. We'll show you the size of the seeds that we've got. We've got some flowers, a variety of kind, and these are called teddy bears, sunflowers. So let's pull this out and see how big this seed is. Yes.
She wants. She's done this before and knows how she does it. Come on over here, Lil.
Yeah, come on over there.
I got 4 of them for you, partner.
Lily, what's your favorite thing to harvest in the garden?
The chives.
Why do you like harvesting the chives?
Because you get to give them a haircut.
So that's the size of the seeds. And they're a 10 to 14 day germination. That means in 10 to 14 days, we should see something coming up. So by the time Easter comes around, we should have a little bit of green sprout if we work out. All right, Lil, you know how to do this.
And I'll get some.
Yeah. Here's one more, bud. Thank you, my friend. And we'll water these, and we're going to put them in the windowsill back here. So when you come into Sunday school class, you can take a peek. And I'd say by Easter, we should have a little bit of green sprout coming up. We'll have to get a tray to put underneath them so we don't mess up the windowsill and everything. But we've got a foiled tray upstairs that's a long one, and we'll put it, and we should have some growth.
Yeah. And sunflowers, we grow them every year, and we grow them because the birds and the bees like them, and we feed them, the birds and the bees, and they're just a beautiful color to add to a garden is the bright yellow.
Yeah, we grow sunflowers from this tall to 8 foot tall, and they'll be all over down there this year.
All right, thanks for coming back. We are here with our table conversations for the week. After the conclusion of our table conversations, I will link in the resources to those books or videos that you and your family can watch to maybe learn something about those communities and those folks who can't quite communicate the way you and I do. So why do you think the Pharisees wanted Jesus' followers to be quiet? Jesus tells the Pharisees that even if people were quiet, the earth would still praise him. What are some ways that people can shout out even when they aren't speaking? Has there ever been a time when you were supposed to be quiet, but you just couldn't help yourself? Can you imagine what feelings might make you shout out when you're supposed to be quiet? What are some times when it's important to speak up? I hope you and your family have had a great week. I hope you will have a great Holy Week and join us for a couple of our worship services. But nevertheless, we hope to see you on Easter Sunday. All right. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
This book, written by an autistic mother of 2 autistic sons, shares what life can look like for families who use nonverbal communication, utilizing tools to embrace their unique method of speaking, including a tablet to communicate with others. A Day with No Words by Tiffany Hammond. Illustrations by Kate Cosgrove. Early morning chases a long night. Mama pulls the curtains back to welcome the sunlight. My eyes squeeze shut. I'm not ready to get up. But I open my eyes. I reach for my tablet, look at the screen, tap yes on the app. My thoughts are now seen. I am surrounded by voices chattering away. It seems as if everyone has so much to say. Some people have big voices that feel like storms in my head. They thrash and they scream. Others have voices that are soft and smooth like freshly whipped cream. Like water, Mama's voice dances around, bobbing up and down as it leaves her throat, much like the waves that carry a boat. Daddy's voice is like air, soft as a light summer breeze that kisses my cheek, strong as the winds of hurricanes that abandon ships at sea. All these people around me, diverse and unique, I hear them all, but they do not hear me. I do not speak. I was born like this, no voice from my lips. I am autistic. I use a tablet to be heard, pushing buttons with pictures that speak my words. Mama taps. Park? Now? No. Crowd? I love the park and quickly tap yes. With no crowd, I'll feel less stress. Mama knew this. She always knows. When I feel comfortable and when my anxiety grows. I do things many people do not understand. I like to stare through the parted fingers of my right hand. I comfort the trees with hugs when the sun disappears. I like to spin barefoot on soft grass after the rain clears. There are some kids at the park with their mamas nearby. The clouds are still gray because the sky has just cried. They all turn to look at me as I jump and flap. One mother sneers, "That boy is handicapped." Mama inhales deeply. Her brows crease. She closes her eyes. Deep breath, release. Mama types quickly, her fingers a blur. The tablet she holds says her words. My son does not speak, but his ears work just fine. The words that you say go straight to his mind. Then Mama turns to me with a smile and taps on her screen. Wet, grass, soft, spin, shoes, socks off, bare skin. And I twirl in damp grass until I can no longer stand. I tap, all done. Mama smiles and takes my hand. Mama turns on her tablet, looks at the cashier, smiles and then types, small fries, root beer. It takes him a moment, but then he pushes buttons too. Mama looks down at me. Your turn, you choose. I tap my tablet quickly. I don't need time to decide. Chicken nuggets, orange soda, a large side of fries. A note from the author. This book is titled A Day with No Words, but did you note all the times Mama and Aiden did use words? Throughout the whole book, right? Every button on Aiden's device is an image associated with the word, and a word is spoken each time he pushes a button. Aiden understands and uses words, yet he doesn't use his voice to speak words. So, why did I choose this title? Too many assume that because Aiden cannot speak words, he must not know words. People associate words with vocalized speech. I've gotten questions like, does Aiden not know words? Can he understand my words? So Aiden doesn't use words to communicate? What's interesting is that humans are constantly using nonverbal communication through facial expressions, hand gestures, touch, and the written word. So, effectively, this book is a form of communication. When you read the words on its pages, you received my message without ever hearing my voice. And Kate shared so much with you through her beautiful illustrations. I'm sure you've heard the expression, a picture is worth 1,000 words. For our family, days like the one in this story help us convey our thoughts, feelings, wants, and needs to our community. Demonstrate to our son that we see, understand, and honor him and want to do everything we can to connect with him. Provide us with a glimpse into how Aiden experiences the world. Most importantly, spending the day existing as Aiden does gives us a better understanding of his challenges as a non-speaking individual in a world that prioritizes speech. This knowledge, in turn, helps us better advocate for Aiden and others like him. A day with no words is a call to action. We all have a role to play in helping foster understanding, acceptance, love, and accommodations for those like Aiden. Our story is a vehicle for connecting Aiden's world to mine, our family's world to yours, and ultimately all of us to one another. I hope our story inspires you to have your own day with no words, and I look forward to hearing about how it went.